Squid Game Season 3 has finally ended, but not how you think. After the final game, lives didn't just end, they changed. Today we unpack every moment of that finale, the aftermath that follows, and that shocking US recruiter cameo that points to where the Squid Game universe is heading next. Heads up, there'll be spoilers in this video. Context recap. After the rebellion from Season 2, the arena is in chaos. Gi-hun, player 456, has lost the last person he trusted and blames himself for the deaths caused by the rebellion he helped start. In the middle of it all, Jun-hee, player 222, gives birth, right inside the game of hide-and-seek. She knows she won't survive the next round, so she hands the baby to Gi-hun and jumps. That moment shifts everything. The VIPs get more screen time, and they're even more unbearable. Outside the game, people like No-yul and Detective Hwang are quietly working to bring the system down. Not together, but separately. But inside, the game has changed. It's no longer just about money. Now an innocent life is on the line. Main ending breakdown. The final game, called Squid Game, is more than just a violent finale. It's a symbolic end to everything the entire system stood for. The challenge takes place high above the ground on 3 towering structures suspended in the air, each shaped like one of the game's core symbols: a square, a triangle, and a circle. Players must press a button at the base of each tower to make kills count. But here's the catch: none of it is official unless someone first activates the central button on the ground. 9 contestants start the game, including the baby, who has now been assigned a number, his mother's number, 222. The round begins on the square tower. Then comes the triangle. On each level, players are either thrown off or killed. By the time they reach the final platform, the circle, only 3 remain: player 333, player 456, and the baby. It's no longer about the money. It's about who's willing to cross the line, and who still has something left to protect. At first glance, Myung-gi is the obvious threat. Not long before this, he had confessed to being the father of the child, but he's not thinking like a father. He's ruthless, calculating, and has never hesitated to sacrifice others for an advantage. His whole strategy in this final game in particular has been about survival at any cost. But while he's gained ground through betrayal, he's lost something deeper: his humanity. Gi-hun, on the other hand, is broken. Grief clings to him. Yet through it all, he holds on to something Myung-gi discarded a long time ago: compassion. By the time the final game nears its end, player 333, even more paranoid, unhinged, and consumed by desperation, sees the child not as someone to protect, but as a final obstacle. He believes that sacrificing her will guarantee his win. But Gi-hun stands in his way, not for strategy or revenge, but just to stop a man from killing not just any child but his own. The two clash with everything they've become, one man clinging to control, the other trying to break the cycle, and in the struggle, Myung-gi eventually falls. He dies believing he almost won, when in truth, he'd already lost himself. Now it's just Gi-hun and the baby, and with no one left to fight, the system expects him to claim victory. But instead, he does the one thing the game can't monetize: he gives it all up. He chooses to end himself, not the child. That moment with 2 deaths back-to-back, one selfish and one selfless, says everything. Myung-gi died trying to win, while Gi-hun, on the other hand, died to make sure someone else could live. After his death, the arena doesn't feel victorious. It feels hollow, like the game itself has been exposed for what it truly is, even in the eyes of the VIP members. A system that breaks people, even when it loses. Myung-gi's downfall isn't explosive, it's empty. Everything he clawed for, alliances, manipulation, strategy, dissolves in the face of Gi-hun's choice. He wasn't clever, he wasn't exceptional, he was just another disposable tool in a cruel system. Gi-hun's sacrifice sends a message the games can't sanitize. In a world driven by profit and blood, mercy is rebellion. By choosing to protect instead of win, he becomes the one thing the system can't commodify. Now the baby, born in violence, becomes something the games never intended: a symbol of hope. She carries no strategy, no guilt, only the possibility of something new. This isn't the end of Squid Game. It's the moment the game loses control. Because when even one person chooses kindness over survival, the rules start to crack. Epilogue and what's next. The game doesn't just end and fade to black. It keeps going, quietly but deliberately. First, the island. The frontman is alerted they've been exposed, so explosives are triggered, alarms go off, and the guards scramble to get the VIP and their logistics of the island before everything explodes. Helicopters leave. The ocean reflects the flames. Everything that kept this place running, gone in seconds. The baby was taken by the frontman from the arena. Later, he gives her, along with the full prize money, to the detective, who takes quiet responsibility. The look in his eyes says it all. This wasn't supposed to happen, but now it's his burden. Then we cut to Los Angeles. Gi-hun's daughter is at home when the frontman shows up. No mask, no guards or protection, just him. He gives her a package, her father's belongings as well as the rest of the money he won. By the time she processed what was going on, the frontman was gone. And then, one last scene. The frontman is in traffic, somewhere in downtown Los Angeles. The light turns red. His car slows to a stop. Then he hears it. That sound. The distinct, rhythmic slapping sound of Dokji. He rolls down his window. And right down the alley, a woman in a suit is mid-swing, slapping a homeless man across the face, just like Gong Yu's character used to do back in South Korea. The same rules, the same game. But this isn't Seoul, it's LA. The frontman watches, and then he sees her. It's Cate Blanchett. She had an impassively unreadable expression. She only spoke 3 words. As you wish. Not to the frontman, but to the homeless man when he told her he wanted them to continue the game in the alley. But before that, she turns and looks directly at him, like she knows exactly who he is, and maybe more importantly, like she doesn't care. He stares back, unsure. There's no recognition in his face, only slight confusion. It feels like she knows him, but he doesn't know her. That's what makes it worse. And just like that, she turns away, back to the game. Another slap, another step. She keeps playing as if nothing happened. He slowly looks away. The traffic light turns green. His car moves forward. The moment passes. But something lingers. It's one thing to control the games. It's another to realize there might be more to it that you know nothing of. Why America is next. Cate Blanchett's character isn't just a cameo. She's a rupture, a subtle signal that the Squid Game isn't confined to South Korea. It's global, organized, and far more dangerous than we thought. Who would have guessed the island was only one piece? Her presence raises new questions. Is this her territory? Is she part of a higher level of the game? A recruiter? Or something much more powerful? And what's her connection to the frontman? The way she looked at him, it wasn't casual. It was knowing, as if she outranks him, or helped create what he's now running. But his face said it all. He didn't recognize her, or simply didn't care. This wasn't just a continuation, it was an escalation. The games didn't stop, they adapted. And now, as they cross borders and switch faces, one thing becomes clear. Squid Game has always been a brutal metaphor for capitalism, but now it's pointing straight at its epicenter, America. The final scene doesn't hint, it confirms. The recruiter isn't in Seoul anymore. She's in Los Angeles. The slap, the suitcase, the stare. It's all happening again, just on new soil. And this shift isn't just symbolic. According to multiple sources, Netflix is quietly developing a US spin-off, tentatively titled Squid Game, America, with Fight Club director David Fincher reportedly attached. Filming could begin as early as December 2025, transplanting the same brutal themes, debt, spectacle, and survival, into a Western setting. Showrunner Hwang Dong-hyuk hasn't spoken publicly about the American storyline, but industry insiders say this expansion has been planned for a while. The game has outgrown its borders, and America is next.